we're going Brook, as in Russell Westbrook. If you didn't see this, and maybe not, Russell Westbrook, former MVP, he's now playing for the People's team, and he is matched up against Kevin Durant in the opening round of the playoffs to get started this weekend. They will go face to face, belly to belly, although they don't actually guard each other. But Durant and Westbrook, who famously played together, if you're old, you might remember. I'm barely old enough to remember when they played together in OKC. And this will be the first time in a playoff environment that these two guys go against each other. It has been well documented over the years that Russell Westbrook has a sour taste in his mouth for Kevin Durant. He has not exactly hid from that over the years until now. Russell Westbrook was asked, we have some audio we're going to play for you. So Russell Westbrook was asked if it's going to be odd playing against Kevin Durant, considering the much ballyhooed matchups in the past. Now, what do you think Russell Westbrook said? Do you think Russell Westbrook said, yeah, I hate that guy, he's a scumbag? B, he did me dirty? Or C, no comment? How about D, none of the above? So as Warner Wolf would say, let's go to the audio tape.
Nothing. That would be normal for me. I think people still think like there's some beef or something. There's no beef of any sort. I think that's a good narrative for media, for people to talk about. But there's no beef, man. I got nothing but respect for him and things he's done with his career, and happy to see him back from injury. There's no beef at all, but he knows I'm going to compete, and I know he's going to compete, and that's all it is.
All right, so Russell Westbrook, we actually had our microphone in Santa Barbara. We were recording that. Our mic was in Santa Barbara. He was in the South Bay. So let us discuss the question, what do you make of Russell Westbrook? You just heard the soundbite, if you could make it out. You had to turn your device up. But Russell Westbrook, what do you make of him saying there is no bad blood with Kevin Durant? No bad blood with Kevin Durant. That's what he said. He said it. All right, so I've got Wendy's, 1-800-Flowers, and the land. And we will combine all of these things together, and that will be the foundation for this Maller monologue rocking the Maller militia. So, Russell Westbrook is playing for the good guys now. I'm pulling for Russell Westbrook, but he is not believable. He is not believable with this little diatribe. It did not pass my sniff test, and I'll tell you why. Russell Westbrook is the elephant man, meaning he has the memory of an elephant. And I relate to him because I'm the same way. And most people are wired that way. If somebody does you dirty, you remember. And you don't forget. You don't let it get away from you. Now, they say that time heals all wounds. That's a saying. That's an expression. But there are exceptions to that expression. Kevin Durant delivered a violent punch to Russell Westbrook's solar plexus. And these guys were side by side, the dynamic duo in OKC. Right there. Durant and Westbrook, they had famously played in the Western Conference Finals. They lost a 7-game series to Golden State in 2016. And then it happened. A moment that all these years later, those that were there still are shocked by, that Durant went full Judas and joined the Warriors, the team that Oklahoma City lost to, an act of betrayal, but more importantly, in the context of Westbrook and Durant playing each other in this Clippers-Suns series, you look at that and you say, wait a minute, that was a vote of no confidence for Westbrook, that Durant's like, you're not good enough, you're a stiff, and maybe he was right on that, but if you're Westbrook, you're not liking that. So excuse my French, right? Russell Westbrook, he's playing nice right now, which is odd. He normally doesn't play like that, but we don't buy it. We don't buy it. It sounds to me, when we played that clip, and I hope you could make it out, I know the audio quality was not great, but it sounded like Russ was working at Wendy's, but we're going back a couple of generations to the 1980s, an old marketing slogan of, where's the beef? But instead of saying, where's the beef, Russ said, no beef. He said no beef, not once, not twice, but 3 times in roughly 15 to 20 seconds. So that became a talking point. It's like, no beef, no beef. Methinks the basketball player protests a wee bit much. A wee bit much. And then I went back and I pulled out the old FBI handbook of lying, something we've used in the past. And I said, wait a minute. Let me examine what's going on. So the determination, the verdict is in. In my opinion, Russell Westbrook, guilty of fibbing. Guilty of fibbing. What's my evidence? 2 words. Body language. Westbrook can't see it because we're on radio, but his eyes were darting back and forth. And it says in the FBI handbook of lying that people's eyes usually dart back and forth when they feel uncomfortable. And then there was rapid blinking by Russ. And that is something when you're stressed out from lying about what you're talking about, you will blink in rapid succession. So those are a couple of dead giveaways. Now, page 2 here. Kevin Durant. We don't have the audio on this, but Durant also tossed ice water on the rivalry with Russell Westbrook and spoke in niceties about Westbrook and the competitive fire of Westbrook. Do you believe Durant? On this one, I actually do believe Kevin Durant. So I disagree with Westbrook, but I agree with Durant that Durant's not really that worried about all this because the bad blood expressway, it's a one-way street is what it is. Like the bad blood expressway, you can say it's a highway to hell, but it's only going one way. Durant is the one that left the relationship. He's the one that went to divorce court. So he left Westbrook high and dry in the Dust Bowl. So from the Slim Reaper's side of the aisle, where I sit, he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to play somewhere else. Not my fault. Yeah, I did what I had to do. It's not personal. It's just business. I love when people say that. So now Durant, here he is, not wanting to give any bulletin board material like he ever cared about that, but he's working at 1-800-Flowers. He's delivering a nice bouquet of flowers to Westbrook. But watch out. Those flowers have thorns, so be careful. All right, last word here. What are the chances, just between me and you and a lamppost that's down there, what are the chances that Russell Westbrook changes the course of his playoff history? So, looking ahead as a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus, pretty damn good. This is why Westbrook chose the Clippers. This is why he picked the people's team. You got Paul George, who's out of the lineup. Westbrook slides into the big chair. He climbs up the ladder. He's now the wingman in this matchup with the Suns. Side by side, you got Kawhi Leonard, who's the top guy, but you got Westbrook over there. The claw oozes with playoff success. And this postseason is a trip to the land. Not Cleveland for Russell Westbrook, but as in the land of opportunity. Russell Westbrook has the keyboard. Got the keyboard right there in front of him to do a Hollywood-style rewrite of his postseason history. It's right there in front of him. He's been known as the Tasmanian Devil. We've been one of the great critics of Westbrook over the years, that he's often out of control, that he's the whirling dervish at the end of games, and he's fine for the first 43 minutes of a playoff game, and then the final 5 minutes, maybe even less than that. Say he's fine for the first 46 minutes of the game, but the last couple of minutes, he'll kill you with a hero ball. And so this is a chance here to undergo a metamorphosis from chaotic to meticulous. And I will guarantee you that the Suns are undercover freaking out about this matchup. They mortgaged the franchise to get the Bohemian baller Kevin Durant, who's also fragile like most of these stars in the NBA today. But Russell Westbrook, he knows better than any other player in the NBA. He knows the kryptonite of Durant. He knows what gets under Durant's skin. He knows the weak spots, the blind spots in Durant's game. And he will give that intel, that cheat code to the Clipper coaches in the locker room. And you pester KD. You look around, Chris Paul's washed up. He's done. He's washed up. Devin Booker's not all that good. So the Clippers, even without Paul George, still have more top-to-bottom talent than Phoenix, which is shocking. It tells you how weak that Suns roster is. And you've got an opportunity here. The People's team in great shape, big underdog, a lot of low-information fans think the Suns are going to win on a cakewalk, and The savvy gamblers are like, no, this is a money-making opportunity with the Clippers. And Kevin Durant's having heartburn thinking about this series and how embarrassing this will be, almost as embarrassing as building a super team with the Nets and then winning nothing with Kyrie Irving, picking Kyrie as your sidekick. But it's going to be a long, painful matchup for Durant. And the Suns, I'll tell you what right now, I'll tell you this. The Suns better win both those first games at home because they're going to be going into a hornet's nest, Clipper Darrell's house, the clip joint, after that in that playoff series.